maximum extension of elbows and wrists, and then we're going up into the coronal plane so the biceps are in line with the ear, and our fingertips are lightly touching each other, and we're gliding our hands up toward the sky. And while we were resting, let's continue with our exercise demonstration for exercises to help with decompression of the spinal column. Right now, I'm going to be demonstrating the T6-T7 ELDOA. The purpose of this exercise is to create space between the T6-T7 vertebra. If there is any compression at either the T6 nerve root or the T7 nerve root, this can manifest as issues related to extension, flexion, rotation, and lateral flexion of the spine, as well as elevation and depression of the rib cage, and inspiration and expiration. With regard to the nerve plexus that's most likely going to be affected, it's going to be the thoracic aortic plexus, and the nerve that will most likely be affected is going to be the intercostal nerve. This can manifest as weakness in your rectus abdominis, your external and internal obliques, and your transverse abdominis, and you may experience pain or paresthesia in the lower rib cage, the middle abdominals, and pain in the epigastric area. With regard to the setup position for this one, we are going to be in a seated position. And this is a bilateral exercise, meaning we just need to perform it on the one side. From here, what we want to do is we are sitting on the ischial tuberosities. Those are your sit bones where your hamstrings attach to. From here, we want to go ahead and go into flexion, abduction, and lateral rotation of the hips by crossing our legs. Once we cross our legs, we want to press those thighs down toward the ground. So we're pressing those knees down. We want to maintain a retroversion of the pelvis or a posterior pelvic tilt. We want a flat lumbar spine, a flat thoracic spine, retropulsion of the cervical spine by tucking the chin in, and everything is pushing in opposite directions. The sacrum or the coccyx is pushing down into the ground. The crown of our head is pushing up toward the sky. Our eyes are looking down between our thighs to put the dura mater under tension. And then with the arms, we are going to go in maximum extension of elbows. And then we want to go into coronal abduction so that the arms are up over our head. And you can't see my hands, but the fingertips, you want them pressing up toward the sky, and they should be lightly touching each other. If I were to put a piece of paper between your fingertips, I should easily be able to slide it. You shouldn't be putting too much pressure. So your fingertips are touching and they're gliding up away from your head. Just to recap. We have the hips and knees flexed so that our legs are crossed. We're pressing the thighs down to the ground or the knees down to the ground. We got retroversion of the pelvis, a posterior pelvic tilt, the flat lumbar spine, flat thoracic, retropulsion of the cervical spine by tucking the chin in. The crown is pushing up, the coccyx is pushing down, the eyes are looking down at the floor to put the dura mater under tension. We have maximum extension of elbows and wrists. And then we're going up into the coronal plane so the biceps are in line with the ear, and our fingertips are lightly touching each other, and we're gliding our hands up toward the sky. We're going to maintain that for 1 minute, and then we are slowly going to come out of the posture. If you are experiencing any neurological symptoms or any type of weakness, pain, or paresthesia in any of the muscles that I mentioned, go ahead, give the T6-T7 ELDOA a try. During the next rest period, I'm going to be demonstrating the T7-T8 ELDOA, but for right now, our rest period is up. It is time for set number 6. That was just a tiny taste of what can be found in my members only section. If you enjoyed it, become a member for only $5 a month to get access to hundreds of member only videos.